Nipsey just got killed. I'm like, 6-0, I didn't hear that. So I hang up with him. I called Nipsey.
Nipsey answered.
Nipsey answered. He answered the phone. Big U gave wrong information. 30 minutes later, the homies blowing me up like they just Nipsey.
They Nipsey Hussle. Eric Holder was not a lone actor in that. If you go back and follow the details, Nip and Big U got into it.
Big U tried to take off on Nip, and Fats took off on Big U and set him on his pockets in front of everybody.
Nipsey Hussle's shocked the world, but what if it wasn't just the act of a lone gunman?
Eddie Boy went to get down with him, and Eddie Boy whooped the shit.
New reports suggest that Big U, a notorious gangster boss, may have played a crucial role in the tragic event.
Big U hit Nip Daddy across the head with a bat. His brother had to come out and shoot the gun.
As rumors swirl and fellow rappers hint at his possible involvement, the chilling question remains: was Big U the hidden hand pulling the strings in Nipsey's? Let's dive in. Eugene Big U Henley, a prominent figure in the music industry, is known for his significant contributions as a music executive and his influence on the careers of several notable rappers, including the late Nipsey Hussle. His journey from a troubled past to becoming a respected philanthropist is a testament to his remarkable transformation and commitment to positive change.
So it's like you're gonna soldier up or you're gonna fold. In our life, in the life we live in South Central LA and we live in the streets, it's kind of like that's what you do. You know what you're signing up for.
Big U's story is marked by both triumph and struggle. He spent 13 years in prison, a period that could have defined the rest of his life. However, he used this time to reflect, grow, and eventually turn his life around. Upon his release, Big U dedicated himself to making a meaningful impact on his community.
You're going to get 56 years in prison. You're going to get out at 78.
When they fly in cars.
One of his major achievements is his work with Developing Options, a non-profit organization focused on providing support and opportunities to underserved youth. As a philanthropist, Big U has been instrumental in the organization's efforts to create pathways for young people to succeed, offering them resources, mentorship, and guidance to overcome the challenges they face.
This is the place where we do all the work to service the community. We'll give you guys a look at what I've done and what I've been up to for the last 16 years or so.
In addition to his philanthropic endeavors, Big U is actively involved in youth sports through his oversight of the Crenshaw Cougars football program. This youth football program, based in Los Angeles, aims to instill discipline, teamwork, and leadership skills in young athletes, helping them build a foundation for future success both on and off the field.
So I always had a love of football. I studied. My main sport growing up was martial arts, and that's what I did, martial art boxing. And then when I came home to answer the question, Robert Garrett.
Big U's influence extends to his personal life as well. He is the proud father of Daiyan Henley, a promising rookie linebacker for the Los Angeles Chargers. Daiyan's ascent to the NFL reflects not only his own talent and hard work, but also the supportive role his father has played in guiding him through his career. Through his efforts in music, philanthropy, and youth sports, Eugene Big U Henley exemplifies the power of redemption and the impact one individual can have on their community. His journey serves as an inspiration to many, showing that with determination and a commitment to positive change, it is possible to overcome adversity and create a lasting legacy.
Because to show you the transition from going from being somebody who was in the streets and went to prison and came home and is really giving back to our community, show you in what way we give back.
Despite Eugene Big U Henley's commendable efforts in philanthropy and his pivotal role in the music industry, particularly in launching the career of the late Nipsey Hussle, there are shadowy aspects of his past that cast a cloud over his reputation. Notably, rumors and speculation have emerged suggesting that Big U might have been involved in Nipsey Hussle's tragic death.
From my understanding, old boy walked up with no shirt on first to check the scene, because he know what's going on in that parking lot.
While there is no concrete evidence to support these allegations, the speculation stems from the complex and often murky world of gang affiliations and street politics that intersected with Nipsey Hussle's career. Big U, with his history in Los Angeles' gang culture and his extensive network within the community, has been a controversial figure. Some fellow rappers have linked him to Nipsey Hussle's death, suggesting that he might have had a motive or influence in the murder, or even that he could have hired the killer.
passed away, automatically Big U did it, or had something to do it, or did this.
These rumors have been fueled by the high-profile nature of Nipsey Hussle, the involvement of gang-related elements, and the intricate dynamics of the entertainment industry. The accusations have caused a stir in public discourse, especially given Big U's high profile and his significant role in both Nipsey's career and the local community. But since Nipsey Hussle's death, Big U's name has been popping up in various stories related to Nipsey and his passing. They had a connection back in the day, but things ended on a rough note, leading to some recent revelations about Big U. There's been talk about Nipsey's Rollin' 60s crew, extortion, and internal beefs. There's a lot going on.
He was supposed to do a job, or somebody sent him or whatever, and he was nervous. He was supposed to hit that alley with that red shirt immediately.
Big U is a big deal in the 60s, having been a respected member and even a leader of the gang. Even though he spent a lot of time behind bars, he was still very much in the loop, both inside and outside jail. He ran a record label and was Nipsey's manager. After Nipsey passed, Big U talked about their relationship, saying Nipsey was like a son and a brother to him. A few days after Nipsey's murder, Big U helped organize one of the biggest gatherings of rival gangs from all over LA to show unity and oneness with a peaceful, non-violent march through the streets, ending at the famed The Marathon store.
One of the things was, you know, while the sweater and the crew necks is getting famous, everybody start bootlegging. The Tag A Marathon, the Crenshaw crew neck is a knockoff.
With a year of reflection on the untimely and senseless death of Nipsey, Big U gave his thoughts and feelings around the talent, heart, and spirit of his former artist, as well as the social impact they both have had for the Crenshaw community. This intimate conversation proves to be rare and revealing in the remembrance of Nipsey's life and a full-spectrum look at a Big U that we don't get to witness often. This is where the imprint of peace and power meets the driving force in the Marathon Continues movement. Big U explained that Nipsey Hussle was signed to him for production, and he was also involved in a bit of management along with Steve Lobel. He mentioned that he brought Steve on board to act as a frontman because his own reputation could be a challenge. He felt that having a white face in front of the black situation was necessary at that time. Big U and Steve shared responsibilities, with Big U being half of the management and Steve being the other half. He clarified that Nipsey was signed to him under Unique Music, his production company.
He had a mic in his closet and was recording his own self. Remember that. He did what no other rappers do today. He sold his own music. He sold his own music.
Big U further noted that he continued with the same community work he had always been involved in, while Nipsey focused on entertainment. He mentioned that after returning home in 2004, he did not pick up working with Nipsey until around 2006 to 2007. During that period, he was collaborating with Suge Knight and his brother-in-law Rick, with Suge providing studio time for Nipsey's early recordings. Big U emphasized his commitment to teaching the community to value itself and to resist outsiders exploiting their neighborhood for media and profit. Nipsey understood and supported this perspective, as evidenced by his last speech at Big U's banquet, where he reflected on how Big U's strict approach had helped him realize the importance of self-reliance and valuing one's own worth. Big U also highlighted the challenge others had in understanding why Crenshaw shirts were sold for higher prices, which was part of their effort to assert their own value.
I don't make no money off the Crenshaw shirts. I don't make nothing off nothing. I create my own. I do my own.
So how did Nipsey die? And why is Big U being accused of having a hand in his? The official story is that Eric Holder was the one who shot Nipsey, but on the streets, there's a whole different narrative. Let's go over what we know about Nipsey's death to see how it stacks up against the street rumors. Nearly 4 years after the tragic shooting of Nipsey Hussle, a beloved Los Angeles rapper whose death had a profound impact beyond the West Coast hip-hop community, Eric R. Holder Jr., the gunman, has been sentenced to 60 years to life in prison.
60 years to life in prison. This coming here on this Wednesday out of Los Angeles. Of course, this is a live look in the courtroom right.
Hussle, whose real name was Ermias Askedom, was shot in March 31st, 2019, outside a clothing store he owned in South Los Angeles. The police quickly attributed the attack to a personal dispute. 2 days after the shooting, which also injured 2 bystanders, Eric R. Holder Jr., then 29, turned himself in at a mental health clinic according to his lawyer. Holder was charged with first-degree attempted possession of a firearm by a felon. He pleaded not guilty and was held on $6.5 million bail. At trial, Los Angeles County prosecutors contended that Eric R. Holder Jr. and Nipsey Hussle, who were old acquaintances and members of the same street gang, had a chance encounter in a strip mall parking lot. During this encounter, Hussle mentioned rumors circulating in the neighborhood that Mr. Holder had cooperated with law enforcement. Minutes later, according to prosecutors and witnesses, Mr. Holder returned with 2 handguns and began firing repeatedly.
I've identified the person believed to be responsible for this devastating crime. He is 29-year-old Eric Holder.
Prosecutors argued that the was premeditated and charged Eric R. Holder Jr. with first-degree. Aaron Jansen, the public defender representing Mr. Holder, acknowledged during the trial that his client had pulled the trigger. However, he contended that the crime occurred in the heat of passion, and that Mr. Holder should have been charged with voluntary manslaughter instead. After deliberating for less than an hour on their second day, the jurors found Eric R. Holder Jr. guilty of first-degree murder. This verdict indicated that they agreed with the prosecutor's assertion that Mr. Holder decided to Nipsey Hussle as he returned to his car, loaded a gun, took a few bites of fries, and then marched back through the parking lot to confront the rapper. Eric R. Holder Jr. was also found guilty of 2 counts of attempted voluntary manslaughter for the wounding of 2 bystanders, lesser charges than the attempted murder initially brought by prosecutors. Mr. Jansen, Holder's attorney, argued that the case was overcharged and that his client had no specific intention of harming the 2 other men, both of whom were strangers to him when he attacked Hussle. Additionally, Mr. Holder was found guilty of possessing a firearm as a felon and 2 counts of assault with a deadly weapon.
The Superior Court judge handed down the sentence to Eric R. Holder, who was found guilty of the 2019 first-degree murder of the 33-year-old Grammy-nominated hip.
In court, Eric R. Holder Jr. stared forward, unflinching. He wore a dark navy suit and white sneakers. As the verdict was announced, the courtroom remained silent, with no reaction from the half-full gallery. In the aftermath of Nipsey Hussle's early 2019, a rare event unfolded within Los Angeles gang life that had not occurred since the early 90s. The untimely loss of the rap legend sparked a wave of truce talks between Bloods and Crips. Sets, divided by historical rivalries, sought common ground to honor Hussle's legacy. Hussle, a unanimously respected Grammy Award-winning affiliate of the Rollin' 60s Crips, was known for frequently reaching across enemy lines to help foster peace. The impromptu negotiations after Nipsey Hussle's echoed the tense moments before the Los Angeles uprising of 1992, when Tupac Shakur helped organize a truce picnic in Watts. This event aimed to unite rival factions under a 26-point Thug Life manifesto. This charter, created by the progeny of Black Panthers, outlined a more righteous path for those in the streets. It empowered hustlers to enrich themselves and their community while adhering to a strict code of honor. This unofficial constitution condemned snitching, attacking civilians and the police, and selling to children or pregnant women. It advocated for a professional code of ethics to create a safer and more prosperous LA. Alongside the work of other neighborhood activists, this initiative was credited with helping to reduce violence between warring gangs over the following years.
With different gangs, like maybe the A-Trays and the 60s sit down, and then different gangs throughout LA, Bloods and Crips sit down, who will actually warn more with each other, who are actually confrontational head-on.
At the time of these negotiations, the late Hussle was just 6 years old, living roughly 8 miles away in South Los Angeles. He would be just over 27 years later, March 31st, 2019, in front of the strip mall that he owned at the intersection of Crenshaw and Slauson, the blocks that he made internationally renowned. In these intervening decades, the rapper-born Ermias Joseph Askedom would come the closest to realizing Tupac's unrealized vision for community upliftment and unity, as he declared on his song Dedication. Hussle was the Tupac of his generation, and he will be honored with a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame on August 15. The rightful LA heir to the late great Machiavelli was a platinum-certified entrepreneur who espoused a buy-back the block philosophy to ward off gentrification. His reputation remained unblemished in the streets, but he could also talk eloquently about using Opportunity Zone tax breaks. He nurtured the next generation of local rappers and looked past gang schisms while donating to nearby schools in the hopes that the neighborhood youth could escape generational poverty. To understand the importance of Nipsey Hussle is not merely to understand the influence of his songs, philanthropy, and philosophy. It's to reckon with the history of the city of Los Angeles and the power of symbolism.
He was a philanthropist, an entrepreneur, business person, mentor, role model. He was a hero to many young people in the Crenshaw area.
It was pretty clear that Eric Holder Nipsey, but the big question is why? There was a lot of speculation about the motive, with one common theory being that Eric was jealous of Nipsey's success. However, rumors on the streets are pointing fingers at Big U, claiming he orchestrated the whole thing. The story goes that Eric might have killed Nipsey on Big U's orders. You know how Big U is in the streets. He's well connected with a lot of gangs and commands a ton of respect. Word on the streets is that business owners in the hood pay taxes to Big U for protection, and since Nipsey had his clothing store there, it's said that he had to pay up for that protection too.
One of the things was, you know, while the sweater and the crew necks is getting famous, everybody start bootlegging. The Tag Game Marathon, the Crenshaw crew neck is a knockoff.
Eric was rumored to have been collecting the so-called tax from Nipsey on behalf of Big U, but when Nipsey refused to pay up, that's supposedly what led Eric to shoot him. Keep in mind, these are just street rumors and not confirmed facts. Anything could be the truth. Even if Nipsey were still alive, we might never fully know what really went down. But because people believe Eric was acting on Big U's orders, they're saying Nipsey's blood is on Big U's hands. Now, the founder and executive director of nonprofit Developing Options has stopped by Drink Champs to finally clear the air about those rumors. In the Drink Champs interview, Noor revealed that he hadn't even heard about Big U's rumored involvement in Nipsey Hussle's death before asking him to elaborate on the accusations. "We ain't got no beef, period," Big U explained. "We never stopped talking, all the way up until he signed the deal with Atlantic Records. He called me and said, 'Unsi, let's go. Where the F is the beef at? I'm in the F video for Ain't No Rap N,' he continued. I am the N who's promoting Victory Lap on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. All these weirdos that just became Nipsey Hussle fans, they weren't promoting that. So where are these rumors coming from? It's N using his name and his death to make some money. And the rest of the ignorant people are falling for that. How you gon' have that and got a man in jail and be like, oh, it's a conspiracy?" Big U said, visibly irritated with the rumors. But rumors never stopped. There's also a story about Big U and Nipsey going their separate ways at one point, and even Big U himself has spoken about it. It all started when Nipsey did something that went against the rules of the hood. While the exact details of what Nipsey did aren't mentioned, it's clear that he acknowledged he was in the wrong. Big U said that on the morning after the incident, he drove Nipsey to face the consequences, but Nipsey's brother Black Sam stepped in and wouldn't let Nipsey go with Big U. This caused a major issue because Big U saw it as a sign of disrespect. Black Sam wasn't part of their gang, so Big U felt he had no right to interfere in their business. Even though Big U admitted that he would have defended his own brother in the same way, he still believed Black Sam overstepped his boundaries by getting involved.
Then it's it was a conspiracy. What is a conspiracy? Yeah. They clearly had a conversation. They clearly was beefing. They clearly grew up together.
After that altercation, both Big U and Nipsey decided to part ways, which is why Big U later mentioned that he doesn't really vibe with Black Sam even though he was Nipsey's brother. Following Nipsey's death, some factions of the LA Crips, who had shifted from gang life to more legitimate business endeavors, organized to keep Nipsey's legacy alive. They formed a limited liability company and took steps to continue his work. They filed a trademark for his business slogan and kept running the Marathon clothing store in South LA, where Nipsey was tragically killed. This store was connected to the Rolling 60s set of the gang and their holding company. Crips LLC filed paperwork to launch The Marathon Continues, which reportedly will function as a youth sports program in Nipsey's honor. Recently, there's been more news involving Nipsey and Big U, brought to light by a YouTuber named Hassan Campbell. Hassan came out with some wild claims which all stem from an issue between him and Wack 100. Apparently, Wack threatened Hassan, and that sparked all these revelations. Whether there was something brewing between them before all this, it's hard to say, but Hassan is clearly not holding back.
But poor black man trying to make it out of the hood gotta check in with evil or lose his life?
One of the big things he talked about is a tape that was allegedly used to extort Nipsey while he was still alive, and that the extortion supposedly continued even after Nipsey's death. Hassan claims he only found out about this tape after overhearing a conversation between Big U and Wack 100 on a three-way call. According to Hassan, Wack 100 told him not to let Big U know he was on the line, so Hassan stayed quiet. What he allegedly overheard was a conspiracy to extort Lauren London, Nipsey Hussle's partner. In the recording, Wack 100 talked about how Nipsey was F with a N and claimed he was saving his career. He added, yeah, he paying a N to F his baby mama with him. Whack 100 has sparked ire from Nipsey Hussle fans before. In December 2019, just 9 months after Nipsey was fatally shot, Whack was stopped by TMZ outside of the Game's 40th birthday party and asked if he thought Nip died a legend. He wasn't, Whack said at the time. What's a legend? Define a legend. Let's keep it real. If Dr. Dre died right now, we'd say we lost a legend, right? Based upon what? Numbers, right? Body of work, right? How many albums did Nipsey drop? One album, right? This not no personal S, this is real S. The truth is, Nipsey was known for trying to steer young people away from joining gangs, recognizing how that lifestyle had destroyed and ended so many young lives. He believed they should be stopped, not encouraged, from getting involved in that world. He was reportedly working on initiatives to make this happen and was even said to have had a meeting with law enforcement about it just a day before he was K. And now people are saying Big U might have become afraid of his secrets getting exposed, and that is why he may have wanted to eliminate him. And his notion was completely different from Nipsey's because he wanted the gangs to be even more stronger. I began adapting my way of thinking. I was trying to find a way out of the streets, Henley told Essence. While I was in prison, I began studying theology and reading books like the autobiography of Malcolm X. I formulated an idea for a way that I could make a positive impact, he said. That idea would eventually become Developing Options. After serving 12 of his 23-year sentence, he was released. I've been home for 17 years, and I've been running Developing Options for 15 years now, Henley stated. One person on the internet wrote, "Nobody gets in da hood by they homie without somebody calling the shot, even though the story does sound off." Another one added, "Prime example of why people get money and leave the hood." Despite these allegations, it's crucial to note that no verifiable evidence has directly connected Big U to Nipsey Hussle's death. The speculation largely remains within the realm of rumor and conjecture, clouding the narrative around his contributions and casting a long shadow over his philanthropic efforts and positive community impact. But for those involved, it's a reminder of how past actions and associations can influence public perception, regardless of their subsequent efforts to foster positive change.